Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everyone's having a beautiful day. We are just getting storms. If you're new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. And I want you guys to know, so you're not surprised, I'm tragedy pimping it, and I am starting a PayPal, a PayPal pool. I got to get a tooth pulled, and I do not have the money. So I'm got antibiotics today, but I had to buy new dental insurance, and I can't get it pulled for 6 months. And I don't know if I could survive for 6 months. So we're going to see how it goes. But I may start a PayPal pool fund to get this tooth pulled. I'm warning you guys now. I'm telling you ahead of time, because I don't know how long I could take it. It's been going on for a long time. Asshole Ron was supposed to have me covered. I needed something for Phoenix's surgery, and I noticed I wasn't on the card. So I am like beyond livid. So that's where we're at. So just want to let you guys know ahead of time. I think it's like $400. I think. I'll find out soon. But I'm just aggravated because I was supposed to be covered. I gave him all the information, and he's a fucking asshole. Then it says Dayton's not covered under him all of a sudden. Like, I can't with an asshole. I just can't. So, like I said, I'll know more when I actually see a dentist. But I have to wait. My coverage doesn't start till the 15th. So that was like the best I can get. So I'll know then. I don't know now, but I'll know then. It actually, right now, it doesn't hurt because I bought that, like, you know that stuff that you use for fillings and you shove it on your tooth? Well, I've used that for almost a year. Actually, it's over a year. I think it's like a year and a half I've been doing that. And it was fine. And then all of a sudden, like, I got this really bad taste in my mouth, and I was like, oh my God, this is infected. So I pulled the stuff out, and it really hurt. So then I put more stuff back in. So now it's just been really bad. I got antibiotics from someone, and so far I still have that taste in my mouth, so I know it's infected. But it doesn't hurt. If it hurt, that would be a whole different story. It doesn't hurt. But I know it's got to get pulled. I mean, you guys remember me talking about this tooth over a year ago? Yeah, I just haven't chewed on that side. But now it's at the point I'm over it, and it's just, yeah, it doesn't hurt, thank God. I mean, it really doesn't hurt. If I don't have this stuff in it, it does, but it doesn't hurt like regular. Just went to a dentist, have to get a couple of implants. $6? Where do you live? Yeah, the insurance, they cover 50% after 6 months and then something else after a year. But, I mean, it's been a long time. So, and I agree with you. Tooth pain is the worst. But that's why I'm glad it doesn't hurt. This filling stuff, like, fills it in. Hey, Chainsaw, this filling stuff fills it in. So I don't have that, like, open air shit. You know what I'm talking about? But I just have this horrendous taste in my mouth no matter how many times I brush my teeth or do anything. You can still feel it. See, exactly, Joy. You feel my pain. It's expensive. That's what I'm saying. I think it's like $400. But then I also, one thing, which, I mean, I don't know if you can see it, but if it does have to be pulled, I have a feeling I'm going to need a fake one. It's not in the front, it's in the back, but I think when I smile, you'll be able to see it. I don't know. But, yeah, I'm just glad it doesn't hurt. Knock on wood. But like I said, it hasn't hurt for like over a year, but I think it just got infected. So, hopefully the antibiotics work. Like I said, I have coverage on the 15th. That's when I'll know more. It's not going to be able to be saved from a root canal or anything, that I know. But, I mean, if I could just hold it as long as possible, like if it gets rid of the infection and then I stuff it and it's fine, then I'm not going to worry about it. So, yeah. Like I said, knock on wood, thankfully there is no pain as long as I keep this stuff like stuffed in it. So, yeah. So, I just want to let you guys know if I start a PayPal pool, you know why. All right. Because, like, that's the last thing that I felt like dealing with was a fucking hundreds of dollars for a tooth. I keep trying to convince the kids to become dentists because that would make my life easier. But I ended up getting a Delta Dental, the top of the one, the higher one. Because they have, like, a really cheap one, but it's no good. Like, it doesn't really cover anything. Going to get worse. It's been like this for over a year. It's probably a year and a half already. But it wasn't infected. Now it got infected. I think it's been infected for a little while. Touch wood? I can't. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I hate the dentist. It is. And that's, again, that's why I'm glad I'm not in pain at the moment. Oh, do you have Delta? Yeah, it's the Delta Plus or something. So yeah. And then I keep getting fucking spammed all day. Because I thought somewhere was this dental thing through like health.org. I didn't know that you can't do dental separately. Oh my God. Talk about calls. They have literally called me like 96 times. I'm like, if you guys call me one more fucking time, I'm charging you with harassment. You guys got to see how many times they fucking called. I was like, wow. I know. It's, like I said, I'm not in pain right now. So that's a good thing, but it is infected. So that's why I wasn't live yesterday. Yesterday I was in a little pain, but right now I'm not. Because I can't handle fucking tooth pain. I will rip this shit out myself. So I know. I looked up. It's funny that you say that, Johnny. I looked it up last night. Oh my God. Here. Wait till you guys see how many times my fucking phone rings. I keep blocking them. Wait till you guys see this. And it's not so bad now. Before, it was like every fucking 5 minutes. They must have called me literally 96 times, if not more. Never ever make a mistake and go to these third-party companies. One place was like, we're going to help you. I said, no, you're going to get charged with fucking harassment if you don't stop. Well, it's many different companies contacting you. I said, well, many different companies better stop contacting me. I do have an Aspen Dental. I don't like them. I've had nothing but problems with Aspen Dental. From me to Phoenix to me from years ago when I was with AT&T. Don't like Aspen at all. So, okay. So I know that I said I wasn't going to touch this case, but I keep hearing bits and pieces here and there, and I actually have questions. Out of all the news sources, I'm going to say that CNN is probably the most credible to me. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree with that, but out of all the ones I've seen, I like CNN as the most reputable. Thank you, Joy. That's what I'm saying. Aspen is the worst. They charged me for a root canal years ago. The tooth needed to be pulled anyway. That care place thing, you know, that care credit, I could never get them because I told them I'm not paying for this root canal because it was absolutely awful. And yeah, I've had nothing but bad experiences with them from jump. But what I like about this Denta is after a year, they do have orthodontic work, which is good to know. So the fake news now. No, CNN? Well, I'm going to show you guys where I have questions. And I would really appreciate someone to come up or lots of people to come up. You guys can help me understand what I'm missing here. All right. So if you go to Google and you look up stuff on this case, you get Rudy Farias' mom mystery. Mom made the boy a slave. That's from the Insider. Daily Mail. Rudy Farias' mom kept him as a sex slave for 8 years. Independent. Missing Rudy Farias' mother kept him hidden and abused. Business Insider. Rudy Farias mystery. Mom made the boy a slave. Okay, so which is it? Was he a slave? Was he a sex slave? None of this makes sense. And I'm going to tell you why it doesn't make sense. Hold on. Without even looking at the articles, just looking at the headlines, the sensationalism in the headlines. Okay, look, hang on. Alright. Buka! Alright. Buka, shut up. So at 4:09 today, CNN updates. Texas man reported missing as a teen 8 years ago has been at home with his mom all along. Okay. Texas man reported missing 8 years ago as a teen actually returned home a day later and has been there all along with his mom, who deceived police by giving fake names and insisting he was gone in the years before his discovery last week at a Houston church. Rudy Farias, 25, returned home March 8th, 2015, one day after he reported missing. While Houston officers had interacted since, oh my God, Buka! Hang on. Hold on a second. Ow. Shut the fuck up. Ooh, foxes. Out. No, move. No, out. Out. Move. Move. Out. Go lay down. Sorry about that. I got this big old box. Like, it's a huge box. I don't know what's in it. So yeah, so I'm sorry for that. Alright, so let's get back to this. So, reported missing. While Houston officers interacted since with Farias and his mom, both provided fake names and dates of birth, misleading officers. His mother continued to deceive police by remaining adamant that Rudy was still missing. Farias is now back at home with his mother, police said Thursday. CNN has reached out to his mom for comment. District Attorney has declined any charges. Okay, this is big. The DA has declined to pursue any charges at this time for making fictitious reports and failure to ID. So now that's my first question. No, it's not Temo. I think it's a Candle Science. Here's the thing. If he was a slave, if he was being held captive, if he was a sex slave, don't you think there would have been charges? Like, honestly, there would have been charges filed. But the DA is not charging anything at the moment. And he's back with his mom. They're not charging her for anything. They're not charging her for fake reports. The investigation is active. There are new leads coming in. We'll continue to follow those leads. Thursday's update by Houston police comes a week after authorities said Farias was found sleeping in front of an East Houston church. And more than 8 years since after he purportedly went missing on March 6, 2015. The then 17-year-old vanished while walking his 2 dogs in Northwest Houston. CNN reached out to Texas Center for the Missing, which directed questions to law enforcement. After investigators talked with him yesterday, that was another thing I heard. I heard that he was not, that he didn't speak. Well, the cops talked to him, so he did speak. It was discovered that Rudy returned home the following day on March 8th. Zamora said Thursday, but his mom, Jamie Santana, continued to deceive police by remaining adamant that Rudy was still missing. Zamora suggested police were skeptical that Farias was in fact missing. Over the years, investigators pursued various leads and tips and collected evidence proving that Rudy was not missing during the 8-year period, he said. Okay, so here's my other question. Plurpy, you never have answers. Here's my other question. First of all, yeah, he's definitely not nonverbal if the police talk to him. You're going to tell me the neighbors saw him, other people saw him, the cops never came back to the house? The cops never stopped by the house and said, hey, talk to the neighbors like we have a missing kid. If you see this guy, if you see any, you're going to tell me nobody spoke. I will, sweet misery, when I'm done. That nobody spoke to this kid. This kid wasn't in school. There were no red flags. Even filing taxes, getting state help, something. You have to claim your kids. And if you're not missing, then how are you claiming your kids? Like, there were a lot of red flags that would have gone up that some of this doesn't make sense to me, which is why I said, like, I have questions. He allegedly spoke to the neighbors. What about church? What about a supermarket? Nobody saw a missing poster? Nobody saw anything? CPS, exactly. If CPS were involved, why didn't CPS say anything? Something isn't right. That's why I decided to talk about it, because there's so much sensationalism going on, but what's right in front of you is obvious. And the fact that the cops aren't charging her, I think people are making a mountain out of a molehill. Honestly, I really do. I know he wasn't a kid, but she could, if she was paying taxes, she could still charge him. I'm sorry, not charge him. she could still claim him on her taxes. If CPS was involved, neighbors, something, I would think that Houston is a good enough police station that they would have, like, you know, someone would have had a red flag. So at the time, the DA has declined to accept charges on that. All right, wait, hold on. Asked about whether Farias might face charges, Zamora confirmed it was against the law to give officers a fake name when detained, under arrest, or making a police report, and that Farias himself did so in at least one instance. At this time, though, now again, that's proving that he can speak. At this time, though, the district DA has declined to accept charges on that until our entire investigation has been complete. Farias is with his mother by choice. Okay. So Farias is with his mom. So you're going to tell me that he's a sex slave. He's been a slave. And they're just going to let him go back there by choice? No. I understand he's an adult. But how did he get so fucked up in the first place? How did he get so bruised in the first place? How did he end up on the church? Why don't anyone have those answers? If he's speaking and he's talking and now he's living with his mom by choice? So then they said, Zamora said he's 25 years old. Police have reached out to Adult Protective Services and connected Farias with the PD's victim services. Nearly 360,000 reports of missing children were made to the FBI in 2022. A figure that may include duplicates, according to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Now, this is why I said I am very confused about he's a slave, he's a sex slave, he's this, he's that. I'm not buying it. That's why I said I'm going by CNN, and this was updated at 4 o'clock. And CNN is saying there's no charges filed. There's nothing. So that's why I said, someone help me understand. Am I reading this wrong? Do I not have enough information? Because the way I see it, everyone is turning this into something it's not. But I might be wrong. That's why I said open panel. Someone that knows the case, help me understand where I'm wrong. He wasn't kept in the home. He was out in the neighborhood. Exactly. That is exactly right, Shauna. That he wasn't locked in the house. He wasn't locked in a basement. The neighbors saw him. The neighbors spoke to him. The neighbors, said they saw him. To me, they're just throwing words to the wall, hoping they would stick. I do understand there's more investigation to go on. And I understand he's an adult. But if you're kept as a sex slave, you're kept as a slave, your mom is abusing you this bad, well, then why are you hanging out with the neighbors? And like I said, the neighbors all said they saw him. So why are you hanging out with the neighbors? Why are you hanging out in the neighbor's garage? The aunt told Ellie he was at the mom's house years ago. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. And not that the case doesn't make sense, but all the sensationalism, all the stories, I feel like are all totally jacked up, according to the latest at 4 o'clock, that he's home. And no charges are being filed against his mom. To me, that speaks volumes. Because I would totally think that if he was sexually abused and he was a sex slave and all this other stuff, then his mom would be charged. Whether he's an adult or not, his mom would be charged. So why isn't his mom charged? because it's not true. Yeah, the mom did a lot of illegal shit. There's no doubt about it. With the fake GoFundMe, crowdfunding, fake GoFundMe. She did a lot of fake stuff. But again, she's not being charged with anything. She's not under arrest. But all the stuff about the mom, well, how did he end up where he ended up? How did he end up in front of the church? Because everything that I'm hearing is all about the sensationalism of the mom. Well, has anyone looked into why he ended up where he ended up? You know, how did he end up with cuts all over him? If he had cuts all over him previously, the neighbors would have saw it. But the neighbors never called the cops, said this guy's got cuts all over him, he's got bruises all over him, he's got something. You're going to tell me they never saw a missing persons flyer? So, Yarn, the other night, we were talking about it in Patreon. The other night, we found out that a 25-year-old was found on the side of the road in front of a church. He was beaten up, he was bruised, and then you hear that he had been missing for 8 years. So it was like, oh my God, you know, finally after 8 years, he was home. They finally found him. And as the night went on, it turns out that Crystal, what's the name of that channel? Navalis True Crime? He was the first one to cover this case. 25. He was 17 then. So we were watching a bunch of his videos. He was the only one covering it. And he was saying that things seem sketchy with this kid being missing. So Crystal had actually given me a few of his videos of why it was sketchy that this kid was actually missing, and now all of a sudden he was found. And then the next day, everybody was covering this case. But everyone's doing the sensationalism of this case. And in my opinion, I kind of want to know, well, how did he get fucked up in the first place? How did he end up in front of the church? Nobody's talking about it, and I don't know why. Hey, Natalie. Natalie, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Am I missing something, or are they just going bonkers to go bonkers? Kind of chainsaw, but not really. Benefits at 17 would have been running out. And all that's good and well, Denise. But I want to know, how did he end up in front of the church? How did he end up with cuts and bruises all over his body? What happened to him? Like, what happened to the guy? That's what nobody seems to be talking about. And that's honestly the only thing I want to talk about. What happened to him? How did he end up where he ended up? That's all I want to know. And I'm surprised that the media and everything else, that nobody's finding out those answers. Yeah, he had, let me play the video. Hold on. I'll play Novellis's video since he was like the first to cover it. Hang on. The guy's 25 now. He was 17 when he disappeared. All right.
Hi folks, I call.
He's got a ton of videos from what I saw the other day. He's put out like 15 videos in the last day. Hold on. Family lash out at Houston PD after press conference today. All right, let me just show you guys how many videos he's got on it. I mean, short videos. But yeah, he goes right here. This is the one that I was going to play. I think this is it.
Well, hi.
Alright, every video he's just walking through the woods, like walking his dog. But I believe this is the video that showed me like an introduction when Crystal first posted it.
Hi folks, there's a pretty wild story coming out of Texas. I'm wondering, did you guys see it? About a 17-year-old called Rudy who went missing and has now been found 8 years later. I have never came across this case before, so when I learned about it I was like, this is incredible. 8 years, amazing. Look at the hope that this gives to...
And why is this the only picture in existence of this kid? Like, there's no pictures anywhere?
All families out there of missing kids. So I went on YouTube, watched 2 short news reports. One of them was EquiSearch talking about looking for him. They looked everywhere, they said, and couldn't find him, but delighted he's found now. And then I watched the second clip and I was like, that's interesting. And I went to bed, woke up, and I immediately rewatched that second clip. I'll play it here. This is just a short clip from the news report.
That's why you could just imagine this family's relief after a long 8 years. So Rudy Farias was 17 years old when he was first reported missing. Now that would make him 25 years old. So back in March of 2015, officials said that Rudy Farias was walking his 2 dogs right near Tidwell and Park Drive. His family reported him missing after his dogs were found, but Farias never returned. His family told officials at the time he was diagnosed with depression and anxiety. Texas EquiSearch started asking the public for help trying to find him, saying that he was possibly disoriented and he had not been taking his medication. His mom spoke to us in 2017. She stayed anonymous because she was afraid that she believed her son's disappearance was suspicious.
Someone out there knows something. Anything. I just want the closure. That not knowing, that's torture.
And the Texas Center for Missing People tweeted out earlier that he was now in the hospital. We have calls out to officials. There are still a lot of questions right now, like where he was found and where he has been, of course, these last 8 years. We are going to try and get those answers.
I want to be a small bit careful here because I'm sure you guys seen in that clip what I saw, but I made a video before about Mike Williams, his mother, and how we shouldn't judge the actions of a mother when her child goes missing. There is no manual.
Karma, let me dumb this down for you, okay? If a daughter is taken from a father or a home, and it turns out, no, listen to me, Karma, okay? Because you're wrong. When have you ever heard a daughter who all the headlines are saying was a sex slave and all this other shit, and they just give them right back to the father and say, just go live at home? No, the father gets arrested and then they do an investigation. At no point do they just give the kid back to the dad that allegedly abused them in the first place. So you use your fucking brain.
So I'll wait until we have a small bit more info. But yeah, noted. His family also made comments about him having depression, which may be kind of insinuating that there wasn't foul play involved. So then when His mother says that kind of goes against it a bit. And also, they comment on the dogs. They were found by the family. It's a small bit odd. Dogs will usually stay close to where the person goes missing, especially if it's water, like a river or a lake or something. But other than that, they'll head back to the house. So maybe they were found on the way back to the house. I hope I'm wrong. It just feels a bit iffy. And the family put up a post of when they went up to see him in the hospital, and it sounds just awful. They said he's in terrible shape. He has cuts and bruises all over his body. He has hole openings and his feet are swelled up. He has dry blood in his head and in his...
Even as an adult though, Kumi, when have you ever heard of an adult female going back to her abuser by choice and he is not arrested? That I have not even heard of a case. If there are signs of abuse, they arrest and do an investigation while under arrest. They don't give the child back to the parent that is abusing them, especially in the condition that he was in. So Karma, maybe your Prozac isn't doing you justice.
He thinks he's 14 and his name is Julio or something. They're going to touch him and he's flinching. He thinks they're going to harm him. It sounds like he was literally locked up in a dungeon and tortured. Like, what happened? Where was he? Like, he was found... Oh, I never told you that. He was found on the doorsteps of a church. A woman seen him and I think went into the police station, and she said that she thought it was a woman. She thought a woman was lying outside the church, and that's how the police found him. His mother is up in the hospital with him now. She won't leave.
Novellas True Crime. Okay. Natalie, he always seems to do that. That's why I can't even deal with him. Carrie Moody is doing great. Oh, has she? Okay, cool. Like I said, I don't know why nobody's talking about how did he end up here? What is going on? How did he have bruises all over him? If he's been with his mom, then obviously his mom did this, right? Logic would tell you that if he hasn't left his mom's side, then his mom did this. But yet his mom's not under arrest. Well, who do they think did this then? Why are there no answers? Who did it? It's part I don't get. And Gator, I will always call him a child because until my mom dies, I'm forever her child. And she's my mom. So it may not be a child as far as the law, but it's this mother's child.
Aside, she's reassuring him that everything is going to be okay. But it's not a happy story, because you come away from it with loads of questions. Most importantly, somebody did this to him and they're out there. Do they have other people? Is there other young adults, kids that this person has? And he wasn't walking around Houston for the last 8 years. There's just so many questions. So many questions there. I don't think this is the last that we'll hear about this case, so definitely keep an eye on it. Let me know what you think. Good luck, God bless. I hope everyone has a nice day.
Oh, he's definitely Irish. His name is Novellas True Crime. Here is the link. I found him through Crystal. Crystal actually posted him. Okay. There's one more video I want to watch because I have not seen it. No, he's not Irish? What's the accent? The accent sounded Irish.
She knows a lot.
Okay, now fill me in. Is this the aunt? Because that's not the mom. Because we heard the mom's voice before and she didn't have an accent.
People at HPD, so I'm gonna have to say, I'm not quite sure, but I'm gonna have to say she knows a lot of people in HPD, and that's why her freaking ass has been covered up.
What Quanell told us
I think the police are hiding something. They know that
Janie
they
comes
know
from a
there is
background of
proof.
HPD. Chief of police could have.
Okay, now let's think logical. Why would the police do a cover-up? Why would there be a cover-up by the police over some missing boy? What did the police have to gain? Absolutely nothing. It is so rare that a police are going to do a cover-up over some missing boy. No, you're not timed out. Over some missing boy. I'm sorry, I don't see a cover-up. When I think of connecting the dots, I don't see any logic of how the police or why the police would do a cover-up.
Brought out Quanell X's statement because my nephew Rudy Farias, who so-called quote-unquote was missing since 8 years ago, 2015, and those fake hospital pictures were fake from 2012. Quanell.
Okay, question number 2. This is his aunt, all right? You haven't seen him in 8 years? You never stopped by the house? You never called and heard him in the background? Well, I guess you weren't that close. So I have a hard time taking her seriously as well. No, that he was found. And the cover-up is they're saying that he was never missing. But I'm saying this woman, the aunt, you're going to tell me in 8 years you didn't ever see him? Well, you obviously weren't that close to him.
Quanell's statement should have been brought up because Quanell is here to help. It's very rare that he would come out and speak up on behalf. And my nephew Rudy would have never talked if Janie was around, okay? Janie is a hypothetical liar, manipulative. She knows a lot of people in the HPD, so I'm gonna have to say, I'm not quite sure, but I'm gonna have to say she knows a lot of people in HPD, and that's why her freaking ass has been covered up.
How are you feeling about no one being charged?
No hay cargos, and that's the first day. How is a mom going to do something to her child knowing that that is very wrong and that's crucial, okay? It runs in the family, in her family, and I'm very pissed off, and I don't want to bring my past up because of Santana's stepfather, and I'm sorry to say that. I grew a hard life, but because of her father that sexually abused me. So it runs in her freaking family.
Are you saying that someone should be charged in this case?
Yes, there should be charges.
Es lo que dijo ahorita hoy en el press conference que no hay charges.
¿Pero qué sienten de saber que no hay cargos en contra?
Estamos bien enojados. ¿Cómo no van a hacer nada? Y ellos están diciendo que no van a hacer nada porque no hay pruebas. ¿Cómo chingas no van a ver si hay pruebas o no? Si no llevan a Rudy para que lo chequeen.
Yesterday, when we were at the hotel, they had her, from what I believe, I didn't get there on time because I was doing other stuff. They had her in handcuffs. Why in the freaking world did they let her go while she was in handcuffs? Because they made one phone call to a district attorney, whoever he was, and said, what, let her go. There's nothing to follow any evidence.
Do you believe that she should be charged with something?
Yes.
With what she's done to Rudy, but falsifying that he had been kidnapped, taken to Mexico, that he had been spotted in other states. She had people all over the United States looking for him.
Investigators
her
Doing this damn GoFunding me account, fraudulently taking money when the son.
Okay, I know some of you will agree with me and some of you will not agree with me. But let me just say this. This is her family, his family. It's been 8 years. Did you not know anything? Did you not question anything? Did you not look and think, maybe, just maybe, he's not missing? Like, just too many, like, I don't know. I can't take these too seriously. It's been 8 fucking years. How do you not know anything after 8 years? We're not talking a year or a couple of months. We're talking 8 years. You're going to tell me that you never spoke to him. He wasn't locked up in the basement. He went to the neighbors. He spoke to the neighbors.
And was there. And I don't mean to bring this up. God rest our mom in peace. But when my mom was under our home health where I work at, I would go visit her because she would never answer her freaking phone. I would go knock at her door. It would take Janie 20 minutes exactly, because I would time it, to answer the freaking door. During the time, and my heart tells me something is going on, I would finally see my mom all dirty, malnourished, really filthy, and going in her bedroom so filthy that it was a shame.
Colleen, can I just ask you, investigators said over and over again that they had made contact with both Rudy and his mother over the past 8 years. They gave fake names on multiple occasions, both of them. Your reaction to hearing that?
If that was fake names giving because Rudy was coerced by his mom to lie, and she manipulated Rudy to say what it was. Once again, I'll bring the subject up. Had Quanell X not been there yesterday at the hotel and took Rudy...
I'm sorry, where the fuck was this lady for the last 8 years? I'm sorry, but why all of a sudden you want to be a hero now? Where were you for the last 8 years?
Aside to talk to him, Rudy then felt the comfortness to talk to Quanell X and bring every freaking thing that she did to our nephew. How in the hell is a mom going to do that to her own kids? Even my own mom, when she was alive, God rest her in peace, that we had to bury her because she couldn't take this shit anymore from Janie. You know, it's horrible. My mom would tell me in person, Rudy is here, Rudy is here. I would go and try to open the doors, and she would say, what are you doing there? I says, I'm just seeing if I left something behind or whatever. My mom never lied. She always said my mom had dementia. Yes, my mom finally got her Alzheimer's.
Okay, but Pisces, if she hid him when, someone came over, but he hung out at the neighbors. All the neighbors saw him. So that's where I'm struggling with that.
80-something years old, when my sister Sylvia finally took controlship of her. This is hard, but we promised her mom we would make justice, that this would come to light.
Pauline, you believe that Rudy was a victim, is what you're saying?
Yes. Totally victimized.
Yes. Can I say something in regards to the chief of police saying that numerous occasions Rudy and his mom were stopped by the police and they gave fake names? Aren't the police asking for ID, driver's license, something when a person gets pulled over? Aren't they supposed to have something, show something, proof of your name?
So why do you think that they...
Were they not asking this to know that these people are giving fake names, or were fake IDs or driver license presented?
So why do you think that they were so reluctant to talk about what was discussed, what Quanell told us yesterday?
I think the police are hiding something. They know that.
Rick, I agree with you. Didn't anyone to think call 911?
Janie comes from the background of HPD.
They know there is proof, and yes, Janie has a lot of contacts with the HPD department, and people up there, higher level people, are hiding the fact that Janie has done things, her ex-husband.
But remember, what do we know about following true crime? We know that if there's someone missing, they're going to speak to the neighbors. They're not going to just speak to nobody and go in the house, nobody's there. They're going to knock on the neighbors' doors. Have you seen this person? Yada, yada, yada. So I'm not buying the whole cover up with the police. Give me a motive, give me a reason, and I'll think about it. But as of right now, this whole, oh, it's a police cover up is asinine.
And Rudy's father, who also committed suicide because of his things that he was doing within the police department. So I know there are lots of officers, lots of DAs, judges that do their job. They do what they promise and swear to do. And there are the corrupt ones. And these people are hiding and lying for her. And right now she's getting away.
I asked the chief upstairs if HPD ever went to the house, specifically to his house in the last 8 years. And they cut it off. The gentleman...
Because they didn't go.
They've been there one time when she used to live on Lee Road in Humboldt. They went one time when we reported that Rudy was at that location.
So the HPD did make contact.
Just one time.
At the home.
At the home.
On Lee Road, not on the Valley Lake.
And then one time
And Rudy was there.
HPD's, I can't remember his name, but he called me at my office on my cell phone to tell me if I took a picture of Rudy in that house. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't seen Rudy since he has been missing. And as of to this day today, I have not seen my nephew.
Do you guys have a message?
He sent me a picture. He says, well, can I send you a picture? I said, send me the picture. I want to see the picture. So he sent me the picture, and I have that picture here.
Can we see it?
Absolutely.
Do you guys have a message for Rudy if he's watching this right now?
Yes, Rudy, if you're watching this,
Rudy,
let us help you.
if you're watching this, mijito, we love you. Your aunts, your cousins, we stand behind you, and we are right here with you. We love you.
I'm going to say it again. Where the fuck were they for 8 years? Assuming, okay, let's just assume that the father, not the father, let's just assume that they believed Rudy was missing. Why weren't you looking for him? Why, you saying that you're standing behind him, well, where were you for the last 8 years? Why not, put all hate aside to the mom and try to find your nephew? Like, I'm sorry, I just don't think they're any better.
What do you hold at fault for this? Because obviously you guys have
frustration. Do you view it as HPD not doing, or do you view it also the DAs?
failed us.
I'm sorry, what?
HPD failed us.
the DA
That's what they
failed
did.
us yesterday. They had her. She was in handcuffs, and she was released because they said they had no proven evidence, no factual evidence.
And I called
You cannot
HPD.
have
the
factual
picture.
evidence if you do not take him to get
And
checked.
that picture's what?
This is the picture that some HPD officer sent me because I requested the picture.
What is this picture? What is this? What's
Rudy
this?
in the kitchen of his mother's house in 2018.
I'm sorry, what?
Rudy, that's a picture of Rudy in his mother's house in 2018. That's when Janie was married to Robert Ortega.
Robert Ortega.
Yes.
That's a picture of Rudy in 2018.
Relation to Rudy, just make sure and give us your name.
My next question is Rudy. I do want to say Rudy because I'm hoping that he's not getting manipulated away from watching TV. That so-called friend of Janie Santana, where he's at, Nikki Garza. Remember, you will be an accomplice. I've got pictures of cars. I got.
The point I'm trying to make is, all right, I have cousins that I don't speak to very often. I have cousins that, relatives that I haven't seen or spoken to in years. But if their kid went missing, even if I did not speak to them, I would still rally with them to find my cousin. I would still rally with them to find my nephew. I would still rally with them to find my niece. So them just disappearing after 8 years, well, why aren't you looking for your nephew that you claim to love so much? Why aren't you helping find him over the years? Why aren't you? why are you worried about how long it takes to get to the door? I'm sorry, I'm just not buying this. Like, every time they talk, I'm like, well, where the fuck were you for the last 8 years? I don't care who I'm fighting with. I don't care how much I don't like someone. If that's my niece, nephew, cousin, whatever, I'm going to find them. And I'm going to never stop looking for them, etc. You know?
License plates, I will turn those in, which I've already posted them on Facebook. And I really hope that I do. What I would like for HPD to see is make a report, be on the lookout for those cars, and just run a report. But she's always changing cars. I physically went after the airport, what was that hotel, Holiday Inn? I physically went to her house yesterday to snoop around. There were reporters there. I didn't do nothing illegal.
That's another thing that I heard you say, Stoner, which I had a question about. Why would a brother be a beneficiary? If it's a minor brother, that would automatically go to the parent. So I didn't understand how they were a beneficiary.
She has been living there. I did find, and Rudy, this is what I want you to find out, because I know that you've always carried it very dearly with you. And I did find it, because I know you've had it for many, many, many years, that more than likely Grandma gave it to you. If you can get away, if they're not forcing you to stay where you're at, and if you can get away, you know where to find us. You can call your Aunt Sylvia, which is your godmother. You can call Abel, my son, which is your cousin, is here.
Are those his rosary beads?
This is his rosary that he would always carry around his neck. Always.
And where did you find that?
I found it right in the front, as probably his mom was rushing him to hurry up and get away from the neighborhood.
Does anyone know why she's wearing gloves, holding on to that?
So right now, Janie Santana has gone back. I have people within the areas on the lookout. They did call me at 12:30, 4:36 in the morning that she was in the neighborhood.
She wasn't in the neighborhood. She went home to load her car up with clothes and stuff to take, and we loaded. She's got 2 guns with her. She's got a car full, and she's gone and tried to convince or bribe Rudy into changing his story. She offered him thousands of dollars. She's offering the neighbors money to keep their mouths quiet and say that they're all lying about it.
Neighbors did come to me yesterday telling me that she did offer each neighbor $150, $250 per day or for whatever, so that they won't say nothing. Okay, they were very honest, and one lady, I won't say her name, but she was on the news. She did come up to me when I was there in front of Janie Santana's house, acknowledging everything that I knew deep in my heart, that he has always been there all this time. But people thought, and I'm going to find out who the first investigator was when I heard about the disappearance, and I knew it wasn't right, okay? This investigator, I don't know who it was, but private investigator, she got on the phone with me and called me every name in the book that I didn't want to see Janie finding her son, etc., etc. And I said, you know what? That day's going to come that everything's going to come out to light.
HPD said that he was okay, that he's in a...
Now here's the other catch that I think people might be missing. Because he is an adult, who's going to take care of him if they arrest their mom? Think about it. Are any of them going to take care of him? Because it sounds like he needs to be taken care of. It's not like he can go in the system at 25 years old. So who's watching? Who's going to look over him? Who's going to pay his bills? Who's going to put a roof over his head? I don't hear any of them saying it. I don't hear any of them talking about it. So I just want to know, are they going to step it up?
Told that, you know, he made his choice to stay with her. How do you guys feel about that?
Very upset. He wouldn't have said those things if he knew that Janie wasn't holding on him. And prior to them leaving the hotel yesterday, Janie had threatened him that had he not left with her, she was going to hurt herself and he was going to be without a mother. If he didn't change his story, that both he and she would end up in jail and prison because of what he told Cornell X. With my understanding, there was law enforcement in that same room hearing that conversation. So for the chief of police to say that they didn't hear anything and that it's just Cornell X, no, sir. Get it straight. Tell your people to tell the truth. Speak the truth. I don't care what position you're in, how high you are up there. Speak the truth. This kid is not a kid anymore. He's 25 years old, but he needs help.
HPD says that at the time, HPD's position is that at the time he was 17 years old, which in the state of Texas makes you an adult.
A male is considered an adult at the age of 17.
It
doesn't matter.
Ladies,
He
can you
was
say your
forced
name so
and
we
he
just
was
get
drugged. He was forced to do what his mother told him to do.
Let me clarify this.
How is that not a crime? His mother has held him there under false pretense that if he reached out or looked for help, he was going to go to jail and something bad was going to happen to him. What is someone of his state of mind at
See, and Carrie, that's what I thought too, that the neighbors have said he acted completely normal. He wasn't said to have disabilities at the time he went missing.
that time? He may have been 17, but he still had the mind of a 10-year-old. Rudy was not a grown adult at that time, and his mind was. He was not anywhere near where he could be on his own.
Being coerced, being manipulated, taking advantage of your own child that you raised. And Janie, I know you're listening to me, and you can come back and say that you're going to have me locked up or get me in trouble or whatever. Stick that up to where the sunshine don't shine. I'm going to say it in a nice way because your day is coming. We're almost there to get you. There's nowhere that you can run because I'm going to make sure that your posters go all over. Don't even attempt to get into an airport and go anywhere because that's not going to happen.
What do you think motivated your sister? What do you think motivated your sister?
To do this? She's always been manipulative. She's had different husbands, different names. She even tried to use my name that I did whatever to her.
100%, Johnny. That's what I'm saying. That he was out with the neighbors. The neighbors saw him. Doesn't matter if the neighbors saw him a year ago, 6 years ago, doesn't matter. The neighbors saw him. If the parent or the aunt and uncle or whoever would definitely keep in touch with authorities to find out, hey, you know, any updates? Are there any updates on my missing nephew? Something. I mean, who lets a case go cold? They don't.
Which is falsifying.
She's a greedy person.
She's a very greedy person.
Greedy, self-centered, selfish.
It's all about money.
She's always been after money. Any way she can get money, anything she has to do, she doesn't care who it hurts or what the outcome is, as long as she has the money for that time, and then she moves on to another way. My grandma
Did Rudy have some sort of mental delay or mental, like you said, he was sort of simple?
Who wouldn't have a mental delay when you're all... No. When he was growing up, he was fun to be with. He grew up with his cousins, my children, my sister's children. They all got along. And then all of a sudden, she just took controlship when my nephew had that motorcycle accident. And that's where some of his his mind just went off.
So he had a motorcycle accident?
My oldest nephew. Yes, her firstborn. And then the dad killed himself, HPD, for whatever reasons. I don't know, some traffic citations or whatever.
And what are your names, ladies? Can you tell us?
My name is Pauline Sanchez Rodriguez. I'm the oldest of the aunt here.
Michelle Rodriguez, I'm his cousin. First cousin.
I don't want to I have nothing to hide. I'm a tip. And I know that this is all coming about greediness, about money. She's bought another life insurance policy. I've got pictures on my phone. I did take pictures. I didn't take her mail because I know that's a federal offense, but it's not bad just to take pictures.
And you know they say that.
All right, so Carrie says, hopefully the police investigate this enough to realize he was 18 and a half when he went missing, unless mom lied on a court filing. Child support says date of birth is 10/1/96. You sure that's him and not the other brother?
That the DA has not pressed charges yet, that they need to wait to complete their investigation before they proceed with this. Right now, Janie has a...
Yes, for everyone that's confused, HPD is Houston Police Department. I meant to say that earlier.
Chance to get further away.
They're giving her the opportunity.
They're helping her. They're giving her a head start when all they had to do was bring her in and question her, bring Rudy in, take him to get evaluated, have medical records because he has not been in the hospital. He has not been checked since they got him from the church over there in 2nd Ward in Magnolia. So Chief of Police and whoever else is saying that y'all have to wait. Thank you. You're giving Janie a head start.
Are you guys going to try to get Rudy from the family if he can go with you guys? Are y'all going to try to...
I want Rudy to come home with my aunt. And
no, in my opinion, if and this is just my opinion, I don't know Houston PD, but if they believed that they were both involved, I think both would have been arrested. Would have been easier to arrest one instead of two.
And for him to get, I mean, if we had...
I said that wrong. It would have been easier to arrest both of them than just one of them.
To do the law's job for them, we would do what we need to do to get him the help he needs so we can take care of him.
Of course, we're not going to do nothing illegal, but as I said, as I said yesterday, I called HPD to send a unit out there to have the license plates run 2 different places. They never showed up. When I called back, dispatch or somebody from that HPD unit told me, we don't have any units. We don't have any units. So what? We don't have any units. But as soon as we get a unit, how long would that be? 2 or more hours? We waited there. Nobody ever showed up. I finally called back. I said, you know what? I'm tired of waiting. I'm going back to the other destination. I'll go do things on my own.
When Rudy's brother passed away, Charlie, he had a policy as Rudy being the beneficiary to that policy. Now, it is my understanding that since Rudy became missing back when, that it's my understanding, I don't know how true this is, but my understanding that Rudy has to be missing for at least 3 years so mom can collect that policy. And that's one thing that I want to find out. Did mom collect that policy? Because only Rudy was the beneficiary to that policy.
Okay, now my other question. So it's been 8 years. You didn't think to look 3 years ago? 4 years ago? If you're so worried if mom collected the money, is there a reason why you never found out ahead of time? Is there a reason why you never, looked into it 5 years ago, 4 years ago? Hey, Brittany, I don't understand why you wouldn't look into it years ago if you were so worried and you were wondering if, this was all about money.
Policy. And I know Rudy hasn't gotten a penny from that policy. Ladies, thank you.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you for being here. Thank you all for showing and posting what y'all do. I mean, it's all of you guys, it's strangers out in the world and here locally and statewide that are helping, that are pulling proof, information of what this Janie does, how she is, the kind of person she is, and they're letting her walk.
do it every time. I tell them it's a problem, but they acting like it's fine. I'm begging them to stop, but they leave me with a like.
Free without doing their job and bringing her in to question her and get the true facts.
You know, she has so many aliases names. She has a lot of pictures that she says it's her. Beautiful pictures, photoshopping.
Catfishing days are over is what I can say.
That, you know, she shows herself to be thin, which she's not. And she photoshops these pictures and posts them that it's her. Well, it's not her. She's falsifying everything. And, you know, we just want Rudy home. I want to take him home. I want him where he's safe, where he's loved, where he can feel the love of God,
and live
and live a normal life. I live a Christian life, and I want Rudy to feel that love that I feel for my God. You know.
Okay. Thank you, Debbie. I love you too. All right, I'm going to open up panel. People that know this case, have an opinion about this case, that have answers to my questions.
Subscribe. I always try to tell them, but they do it every time. I tell them it's a problem, but they acting like it's fine. I'm begging them to stop, but they leave me with a like.
So hold on. He may not be a child, but he's always a child. Like my kids are always, I'm always going to be my mom's child. No matter what, I'm going to be my mom's child. All right. Here is Elinko. I'm going to pin it. So while I'm waiting for someone to come up, let me just state. Let's say Alexis comes into chat. Let's say I change my name. All right. Alexis comes into chat. And I say, hey, sit the fuck down and listen. Think about it. I think it's a brilliant name. I know you guys all think I'm crazy, but think about it. You go into chat, sit the fuck down and listen. I think it's perfect. Absolutely perfect. I know, Crystal. No, I really just want answers. Because there's a lot of questions that I don't have answers to. But seriously, wouldn't that be a cool name? I don't know. I've been thinking about it. So it'd be like, hey, what's up? Sit the fuck down and listen. Or STFD and listen. I don't know. From a creative point, I think it's great. All they said was that he was free to come and go. Slater gets on my nerves. Who, the aunt? Someone else said I should use I'll wait. Heather. A couple of Patreons were like, how about I'll wait? I said, well, that's one. You're falling asleep. Guys, you better come up. Or I'm going to shut down. You don't like the name? What about I'll wait? I think, who came up with that? Someone in Patreon came up with that. By the way, Patreons that aren't in Discord, I uploaded episode 5 of The Idol, and I started taping a new series for you guys called based on a true story. Really good. Person, mom, and someone. No, I don't think someone's in on it together. But I know a lot of Patreons don't have a Peacock. I'll Wait is a great name. I'll Wait. I don't know. It kind of fits me. I like your name. No, there's a reason I'm changing it, Chainsaw. I have to. There's too much baggage attached to it. I'm over it. I'll Wait is not too bad. I kind of like it. You go into a chat, say, hey, what's up? I'll wait. I don't know. It doesn't sound as good as sit the fuck down and listen. All right, guys, you're running out of time to come up. Is this mom kind of like Gypsy? I don't know. We're not really sure. You say it all the time. I know I do. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. I'm thinking going as no one. That's true. Did he have a cell phone? Was there a cell phone? Crime Wicks? That's not bad, actually. That's not bad. Crime Wicks. What's up, girl?
Hi. Would you like to know my thoughts, my
No, I want facts.
information I know?
I want facts.
Well, stuff that I've read.
All right, what you got?
Well, also it depends if you believe. Can I ask people that how many believe that Mr. QX guy, that if he really talked to him? And I'll tell you why I believe he talked to him. Because he said that he was into cars and show cars and stuff like that. And Mr. QX has some kind of Mercedes Jeep looking like cool car. And on video, you see him take the guy on a ride in his car, come back, talk to him in his vehicle. He walked him out the hotel. He walked him back to the hotel. He really obviously trusted this guy. I do believe 100% that he talked to him and that this story is true. And I was just wondering how many other people believed it, because some people are saying it's not true.
Okay, but here's the thing. I don't, like, I'm not even, like, so much interested in all that. I want to know what happened to him when he was found. I want to know why his aunt and his Christian-bearing ways, why none of them pursued it. I want to know why they think there's this big conspiracy going on with the police. Those are the stuff I want answers to. Like, that's what I want to know.
By one, I forgot them. I'll go one by one. I have an answer for all of them.
Wait, what?
Ask me one by one, and I will tell you. They don't know how he got from his house to the church and how he got beat up. They're investigating it still.
Okay, but if he lived with his mom and his mom had him the whole time, then it's reasonable to believe that his mom did this. So why wasn't she arrested?
I agree, but they can't just assume. They have to investigate.
So again, I go back to what I said to someone earlier. If this was a male and this happened, do you think they would just wait to investigate? Hell no. They would have this motherfucker in jail and ask questions later. So is it because it's a female? They're just saying, well, we need to investigate first? Because again, show me one case, just one case of all this abuse going on and all this horrendous abuse. Hey, Jen, all this horrendous abuse, and they just let them stay home. Show me one case.
It wasn't sex. I wanted to explain that to you. I know all of the articles are saying sex slave and all of this stuff, but it wasn't like that. She did, according to that DX guy who had got the story of what happened from the guy, I can't even remember his name. Gosh, Rudy. The mom, he slept with the mom in the bed and they were always naked and he wasn't comfortable and he would hide under the bed. And yes, she did have sex with him, and that all that like that's not a sex slave in my opinion. There's no dungeon, there's no basement. He just stayed in the house, and when people came over, I guess she hid him. It took 20 minutes to get to the door. Obviously she was doing something, and I agree with the family. The family says that they felt something was suspicious. Some family members knew he was there. They called law enforcement. Nothing was done about it. Why didn't you keep calling law enforcement until something was done about it? Why did you just call one time if you say that you care about him and you love him?
Okay, hold on a second though. If Rudy hasn't spoke to the police and the parents haven't spoke to and the mom hasn't spoke to the police, then where are all these wild stories stemming from?
They have. They did all that yesterday.
No, I know, but I'm saying that where would these stories come from if they haven't really spoken to the police about it?
Because this human, I keep saying that, Houston community activist, Mr. QX, spoke to Rudy when he was in the hotel. There was a detective in the room with them, and it was recorded. And Rudy told him the whole story.
Okay, who has this recording?
I'm assuming him or maybe law enforcement. It wasn't said.
Okay, so why? All right, this is where things get, and I'm not questioning you, but you're repeating something, so that's why I'm questioning it. We do not know if any of that is true unless they release a I don't know who Quanell X is. I've seen the name a bunch of times, but where's the recording of it? Like, where right now it's all rumor bullshit.
Right, it's published, and that's why I asked if anyone believed him, his story or not, because like he legit almost cried and had tears in his eyes when he told the story, and I do believe that he trusted him. So I don't know.
But I'm just saying that none of that's a fact, though. That's all just rumor. Like, for him to say that there's this recording and Rudy opened up, well, the mom would have been arrested then. That's why I'm like, I don't believe it.
There's nothing for her to be arrested for except maybe incest. Everything else wasn't really a crime. And they're even they're talking about even pressing charges on him for lying about who he was. However, the mom manipulated him into doing that, and the mom also did that. So why don't they arrest her for that?
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't believe it. And if he's saying that the detective was in the room and the whole time, well, why didn't you make an arrest yet? And why isn't the cop saying anything? Like, I don't believe it. I don't at all.
I guess we just have to wait until the investigation's over with, because
Yeah,
they're still
it's still under
investigating it.
investigation, so they can't comment a lot. But from what I saw during the press conference is that they had asked him several times if there was any sexual encounters or sexual assault, and he said no. And that even if there was, he couldn't comment on a sexual assault case. So
I agree, Papa. Having sex with your son is a death penalty crime. I mean, not really, but it is. Like, they would have arrested, if that was on video or audio, they would have been arrested. She would have been arrested. Especially as an adult. That's incest, and incest is 100% illegal in the state of Texas. So.
And the cop straight out said no.
But she, on the family members also said on the video that she told him that if he didn't say no, that she threatened him in some type of way. I don't remember exactly. I'll have to go back and watch the video. And they're saying that's why he said no. He's not going to say yes because he kept saying he doesn't want his mom to go to prison.
It doesn't matter. You're saying that the police have a recording. If the police had a recording, then it doesn't matter what he says. Like, it wouldn't even matter. The police obviously don't have a recording admitting this, or it wouldn't matter what the mom said.
I think what Rudy said. We have is from is it Quinnell X, the activist? I think that is the only information we really have when it comes. And then after he came out, I think the family came out. So it was like the neighbors, Quinnell, and then some of the family members that we just watched came out.
Okay, and where did this activist come from?
Laura, you're right. I've not heard of anybody not reaching out or, filing police reports on somebody who's missing after 8 years. They come back, and I've heard nothing but a beneficiary, so money, and a GoFundMe, money, right? It's shady.
Oh, I agree. It's definitely shady. I'm just trying to get to the facts. And the facts are, where did this advocate come from? Like, why all of a sudden does he have an advocate?
Apparently he's highly respected. And he's done this for many years, and he's done this for a long time in multiple cases. So I'm even confused when it comes to that. They asked at the press conference straight up to the cop, so are you saying he's lying? And the cop said,
yes.
He said, no, I don't think he's lying, but I can't comment on it.
No, but what I'm saying is, if there was, all right, I'll say a few things. If there was this recording, the cops would not need Rudy to say anything. The cops wouldn't need Rudy to tell them if it was true or not, if they had this recording. So all of a sudden, this advocate comes out. I mean, I don't care how long he's been an advocate. In my opinion, and it's just my opinion, they're going to want money. This is about money for them.
Yes.
Every single advocate I've ever seen has more money than most, because they're not advocates. They're doing it for a paycheck. Like, they all do. And they only hit high-profile cases. Because where was this advocate the whole 8 years he was allegedly missing?
That's right. Like I said, after 8 years, you're hearing nothing but GoFundMe, beneficiary, money, right? That's all I really can pick out of these press conferences. Even with the police officer, he started off the press conference begging for money for more vehicles.
Oh, no shit.
Oh,
dash cam.
Your reaction to that press conference.
Talking about money for dash cams. Whistle down, do you believe Mr. X, I forget his first name.
I played it for Quinnell. His name is Quinnell. When I played it, I watched it and I was like, something doesn't seem right with Quinnell. I mean, it's, people love a good lie. People love a good lie. People love a good story, and that's the feeling I got inside. So I played it for Todd, and he kind of looks at me, and then he's walking out the door and he's like, something's fishy with that case. Something isn't adding up. Like, he didn't even believe Quinnell, and he's always so biased.
Okay, and that's the only information we know is what he said, so.
Right. The only information we have on any of this, and I don't think there's a recording. From what I understand, that kid would not talk to anybody with his mom present. So They got his mom out of the room and they interviewed him with Quinnell, the activist. And the activist came out after that interview and said that all this stuff happened, right? But he wouldn't say anything in front of his mom. They had to have the mom taken out of the room. And he came out and said all this.
And Quinnell did say that he recorded, that it was recorded.
Okay.
When he talked to him.
So, and Laura's right when it comes to this. If there was a sexual, an incest or an assault that was happening, she would be arrested. Yeah, she would be arrested. Absolutely, because they have to follow the law, right? Their law.
Not if he doesn't want to press charges and the state doesn't
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
This is a misconception about the law. When it comes to cases like that, it's the DA that's filing the charge. Kind of like, and I'll give you an example, a murder charge. You don't have, Cindy B versus Sweet Misery. It's the state versus Sweet Misery. The state versus Whistledown, because it's the state that's pressing the charges, not the individual. And that's a big misconception that people get wrong a lot, that they always think the victim needs to press charges. In certain instances, they do. If the state decides that they don't want to pursue it, or it's going to cost them too much money, or multiple reasons why the state won't pursue it without the victim, there are certain times that they need a victim. And otherwise, the DA is just not going to bother. But if the DA decides that we're going to do this, they don't need the victim at all.
Yes. They have to follow the law, because then, for example, how these ladies are coming out right now and saying all of this stuff happened, we reported it, nothing happened. They can say the same thing in 20 years, so the cops, they have to investigate something like that, and they have to take it seriously, and they have to, I think they said it best in the press conference, treat everybody the same way, investigate everybody as they were a person of interest and a victim.
The aunt did say that the police did not take their call seriously when they called. Maybe they might be taking it seriously now that it's out in the public.
You know what's odd, Laura, in Sweet Misery is you always want to find something that the police did wrong, right? We always kind of look at everything in cases. Apparently, this kid stole his mom's car, right? And got in a car accident. And that's all that was really said during the press conference. So,
wait, hold on. Is that why he has all the bruises? Because of the car accident?
I don't know. Good point. But that press conference said a lot, So it's not like, and then even the neighbor that came out and was, saying he wasn't missing. We saw him in the park, right? Obviously, he had people he could talk to, and he could go. People knew about his brother being in a motorcycle accident, and he, I don't know. He could be just a genius. I don't know.
See, but okay, if he stole his mom's car and mom didn't find out until he crashed?
So mom didn't know how to report the stolen vehicle because the keys were in it.
Okay, hold on. Mom was married to a cop and mom doesn't know how to report a car stolen.
Well, because
she said it was stolen.
Him. Yeah,
she did report it stolen. Stolen, not by her son.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Where did you hear that?
It's on a video on one of my lives.
Whose video?
On Sweet Miseries.
Okay.
It's on a video that I have on one of my lives. I would have to go back and look at it.
Okay. I just want to know where it came from. But I do want to watch. Crystal had said, can we watch this advocate? So I do want to watch it. It's about 11 minutes. So you guys want to stay up here?
It's up to you. I don't mind.
No, you guys can stay up. All right. Hang on. I just queued it up. Here it is. All right.
her crossing his personal space boundaries. He said that she would make him sleep in the bed with her. And he said that she made him play daddy. He said that he didn't like getting in the bed with her. That he would try to sneak out of the bed and sometimes hide under the bed, but she told him he had to be her husband. That's a damn shame. The little boy said she was the one providing drugs to him for years. Hallucination drugs, mushrooms, etc. And that the reason why he was left, he was just tired of her crossing his boundaries. When he would shower, she would come and pull the shower curtain back and stare at him, and then she would make him bathe her with the soap. And he ran away this time because he was tired.
Cornell, you've been doing this for many years. How emotional has today been with this case?
It's a goddamn shame. I ain't never in my life heard of a mother doing to a child what this woman did.
It all there when the mother was questioned.
Why does it keep stopping?
Yes.
And what was her reaction when this was brought to her?
And I knew something was wrong with the story when she was questioned. When they found him, he had her credit card in his pocket. She just canceled that credit card 2.5 years ago. So if he's been missing for 8 years to us, that she gave him that credit card so he could go and buy her certain things.
But with the other allegations, what was her response to those allegations?
She hadn't even heard them because we had to remove her from the room.
But so she hasn't been questioned about that?
Can you describe her demeanor and his demeanor during questioning?
When she was in the room, he wouldn't say nothing. He wouldn't say one word when she was in the room. But the minute she left the room and we were allowed to talk to a young man, and he asked. He said, "Can I speak with Mr. X by myself? Can I talk to Cornell by myself?" And the detective was like, "Well, can one of us stay in the room?" And he was like, "Okay, but I'll talk to him." When she left, when he first came here, he was holding on to her. He wouldn't talk to her. He wouldn't say one word to anybody. Like he was petrified. But the minute he got alone by himself, he slowly calmed down.
I can't control the freezing.
To talk very coherently and specific details.
This is a man in his mid-20s. People might wonder, why not run away from this situation? Why not get yourself out of it? Did he give you any explanation about that?
I honestly believe, based on what he said to us, she was drugging the hell out this kid. And she convinced him that he was in trouble for initially running away, and that law enforcement wanted to arrest him and put him in jail for running away. She had convinced him that all type of agencies were looking for him to put him in jail.
He was in plain sight, according to you, that he would take her to work.
No, he would go to work with her.
Right. He would
stay at the job.
She would take him to work. Where did she work, and where was he doing this work?
It was some kind of security job or something like that. Where they were at, I don't know, but it was a security type job, a nighttime security watch type job.
How did he end up in church?
We still can't. He admitted that he had took mushrooms, okay? And 2 weeks before this, maybe not even official whole 2 weeks, her car.
I don't know if I'm buying any of this.
When her car was stolen, she didn't know how the car was stolen, but the keys were in the car. And he stole the car. That's when he got to the accident in the car. And It was him that got into the accident in that car.
What was the story? I mean, this is 8 years he was reported missing. What's the story that he's been? I spoke to neighbors who said he went by Dolph, but he never kind of told anyone what happened. What was his story?
Because she had convinced him that he was in so much trouble for initially running away, and she gave this boy serious drugs to the point to where this boy needs extensive professional help.
How did he stay missing for so long? I mean, 8 years.
He was a...
Look at the media eating this up like it's fucking crack.
To visit with some of the neighbors under an assumed name. She believed that after so many years, people had forgotten about the case, and that under an assumed name, and convinced him to use that name, nobody would put two and two together.
But he never told any of the people that he was with what was happening?
He never told anybody.
Okay, please explain to me how the son of a police officer would be able to get away with HPD not knowing their name. This is the son of a police officer. Make it make sense.
What was going on? And let me say this. That young man's body have scars all over it. Slice wounds from here, from to his forearm to his wrist. All type of scars on this kid. And he said that she often locked him in the room. That she would give him drugs and lock him in the room. And there's a whole lot of mental health issues there, I believe, induced because of the drugs that this young man was
Well, at any point, during this process today, did you see the mother detained by HPD?
They took her to another room and kept her there for a minute after he had confided with us what was said. I know they were on the phone with the DA's office and their superiors about this case, but I want everybody to know something. This young boy was not kidnapped by some strangers and he got away and they found him. That's not the case here.
You know, this happened on Thursday, and we're nearly a week later, and investigators waited almost a week to speak to him.
Hey, I got a question too. Did the neighbors... Oh, that's good, Heather. Did the neighbors say that they never gave a name? Like, if my neighbor comes over, one of the kids, I'm like, hey, what's your name?
So they told him, the mom told him to pretend he was her nephew and gave him a fake name. But the neighbor did do a TV interview where she said that his name, we knew his name. His name was Dolph. That's what she called him.
Which is short for Rudolph.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I mean. She would talk to him and he'd go hang out in the park. I mean, alone, right? But he'd hang out in the park, and she knew about his brother that was in a motorcycle accident, and his name was Dolph. I don't know. But mom, Quinnell says mom told him to not tell him his real name, you know?
And hearing the story that you heard, is it a concern that they waited this long to hear from him, given the story that you were told? It seems like he's had 8 years of dealing with this, and now another week.
I was shocked that they have not done more. I was shocked that they had not executed a search warrant on the home. I was shocked by that. And I said, don't you all think you need to get busy and execute a search warrant on that home? And the young man made it crystal clear to us that that's where he was, in the house. But he was living under this fake assumed name.
You think police failed in this situation?
Oh, big time. No doubt about it. Absolutely they did. Because there were several instances where calls were made about him to law enforcement, and they did not properly follow up and follow through based on the history of that address, because she had changed addresses.
Some residents were saying this morning that she brought bags and she was trying to leave. Do we know
something about
She
that?
tried to what?
She was trying to leave the
She was
house.
trying to leave the house?
She did leave the house.
She was trying to
And
escape?
she left. She did leave the house, and she was trying to get away from the house. Yes.
Why was she at this hotel?
She said she felt that she was not safe going home because she had been receiving threats.
What now? Is the police investigation over? Where are they?
I can't say at what state their investigation is, but what I can say, it ain't no way in hell that woman shouldn't be locked up immediately, and that boy needs to go to the best drug rehab and best psychological mental health facility that we can find for him. He's a good kid. He's a good kid. Abused.
And what was the mother's reaction when you brought these stories to her?
I couldn't go back in the press at that point. The police felt it was just best that she and I not speak again. Because I was bitter.
Is she aware of these that the son told you?
Yes, she's aware. And then she goes back in there and tries to tell him, and she don't even know that was recorded. Tell him that you made it all up. That was just a lie.
You said she would ask him to play daddy. Can you just she was sexually abused?
She would ask him to play daddy. She told him that he had to be the husband. She would force him to sleep in the bed with her. And he was forced to sleep at times in the bed.
Okay, I have 2 sons. I could never force them to do anything. They would laugh at me. So, I mean, I have a hard enough time getting them to take out the damn garbage, let alone forcing them to, be in the same bed as me. I can't even get Dane to clean his damn room.
Oh, God.
Beds with no clothes on.
Was anything ever physically done?
Yes, but I don't want to talk about the kissing and all of that stuff.
But he was telling you that there was some sort of sexual action that was happening between
Well, let me ask you a question. If your mother tongue kissing you in the bed with her naked, what the hell is that? I mean, damn, do we have to go that far? That's what happened. This is sick.
Quanell, do you
This
think...
ain't normal. This is sick.
Quanell, if these allegations are true, and I understand the position you're in, if they are true, how long before you think there's an arrest?
Based on what that young man said to me in front of the detective, I don't see why she's not in handcuffs right now.
All right, I honestly don't believe this guy. I don't believe that story at all.
It's fun to play the press conference. You'll really like it, but just remember, there's probably 7-8 minutes maybe of him begging for money for patrol cars. That's how they started it. It's Houston Police Department. I don't have a link. You know what? Mel has it, and it's okay.
If I lost it,
Yeah, but just fast forward. Just know that they literally start this press conference begging for money. They don't say anything about Rudy for quite some time. So I would start. I don't know where to go.
At this point, there have been a lot of disturbing allegations made, hoping for some clarification from Houston police today. But first, not a couple years. 4. So I'm going to let to come to this hotel where she and Rudy were planning to meet with Houston police. But when Quanell arrived, what he says Rudy told detectives was heartbreaking.
She would ask him to play daddy.
Members, no yet of events. Houston.
Our dash cam. Everybody up? Okay. Good. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. We're here to discuss the missing person investigation of Rudy Farias. But before I do that, I want to address our dash cam news that's been in the news starting 2 weeks ago. And I'm going to do that really, really quickly, and then I'm going to bring up Lieutenant Zamora from the Missing Persons Unit, who'll provide some detail on the investigation, and also Commander Garcia will come in and translate for us. So a few weeks ago, there were a report that we only had only 15% of our vehicles were equipped with body-worn cameras, with dash cams, I meant to say. That didn't take into account that we don't equip dash cams on investigative vehicles. So let me give you just a quick breakdown on the actual numbers. We have about 3,200 vehicles on our fleet used for various duties. 1,400 of those vehicles are equipped with lights and sirens, our traditional patrol cars. 1,800 of those are investigative vehicles and undercover vehicles. Dash cam on that. So I want to thank the mayor. We'll entertain everything at the end. Come on.
Leads collected evidence proving that Rudy was not missing during the 8-year period. Many of these facts included contacts and statements with relatives, friends, neighbors, and medical professionals. Reports of sexual abuse reported. If there is a disclosure made, we will continue to investigate. Currently, the investigation is active, and there are new leads coming. Reached out to Adult Protective Services. HPD Victim Services has reached out. We've also connected Rudy with Victim Services to ensure that he has a method to recover. Now, based on Rudy's interview, there were no reports of sexual abuse reported. If there is a disclosure made, we will continue to investigate.
Was this before or after Dumbass's press thing?
After.
So this was after.
The press conference was yesterday. This was today.
Okay. So they just proved that he was lying.
Yeah, and if you want, the questions, it gets a little bit heated, a little bit like somebody asked him straight out, so are you saying Mr. Cornell is lying? And the cop actually answers the question.
Okay. I mean, he's got to be lying. He just said that there was video that detectives have it recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, the investigation is active, and there are new leads coming in. We'll continue to follow those leads. We do take all allegations seriously, and any new information or facts that we receive will be investigated.
Thank you, Lieutenant. One question at a time, please.
Oh,
Do
no.
not yell them out.
I'm going to let him translate, then we're going to do it.
Okay,
Thank you. Go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Buenos días y gracias a todos por estar aquí. Antes de hablar sobre el caso involucrando a la persona desaparecida Rudy Farias, vamos a hablar un poquito sobre un asunto que ha aparecido en las noticias, que es referente a las cámaras montadas en vehículos no necesariamente. Entonces,
From what you just said today, are you saying that the activist was lying?
Basically, what we're saying is our investigation is our investigation, and we treat it the same. We're going to, our investigators were in the room, and basically, you know, what they heard and what they interviewed, that's what we attest to in our offense reports and our investigations. And I'm not here, neither are they here to question anybody's integrity, but our integrity with the Houston Police Department stands, and we're going to report and put in offense reports what a victim or potential victim tells us, okay?
But just to be clear, in that room, the detective did not hear anything about sexual abuse allegations.
Go ahead.
Can you just clear that up?
Yeah, Sergeant Stefan Jimenez. Yes, I interviewed him, and no, there was no, I'm trained to listen for probable cause. I'm trained to listen for statements that can help me get charges or move forward with a case. And no, there was no statements made during this investigation so far, no.
Thank you. Next.
So there you have it. Old boy totally fucking lied. I mean, he just said he totally lied. And that nothing of that was even said.
Right. It's and so and I think he interjects, or he asks the guy next to him to say something, to answer a question or to interject, and he says, even if it was a sexual assault case, we wouldn't be able to comment on it. But it sounded more like it didn't happen. Like he didn't say that in this meeting.
No, he just said that that's not true. Listen. I replay that. Listen.
Yes, I interviewed him, and no, there was no, I'm trained to listen for probable cause. I'm trained to listen for statements that can help me get charges or move forward with a case. And no, there was no statements made during this investigation so far, no.
Thank you.
He says it straight up. That no, nothing like that was ever said. So other dude's just a fucking liar.
Next question. Go ahead, Maria. Wait a minute. Go ahead. We get it. Yeah. Go ahead.
I can't hear any of the questions.
Rudy Farias.
Was there any conversations about
What's up?
sexual relationship?
I can't hear any of the reporters.
So we don't release any type of information related to sexual
Let me
assault.
back down.
That's just state law. I
Okay.
can't comment on that.
Go ahead.
Is Rudy a victim then in all of this, or did he and his mother work together? I mean, he wasn't missing now.
The investigation is still going on, Courtney, and I'm not going to say if he's a victim or not. I'm thinking, and saying we're going to treat this just as we do with any potential victim or victim, and we're going to give respect to everybody that's involved. We're going to conduct our investigation, and we're kind of right at the beginning of it. This investigation is going to go on after this press conference.
What's next? Could we see any
Sorry.
charges?
If charges are appropriate, they'll see, but let us conduct the investigation. And what's next, Courtney, just as any other investigation, we're going to follow our evidence. We're going to do more interviews, and we're going to follow the evidence, and I think that's important. Go ahead.
Chief, can you say, were there any signs of mental illness, that he might be mentally ill, that his mother might be mentally ill?
We're not going to say that right now. Anyway, we're going to conduct the investigation. It's really too early to determine that. There are going to be some more parts to the investigations, and some of that may come into play, but right now.
So just because there were some other allegations that he had been held prisoner, that he had been taken to Mexico, is there any indication that that was true, or was that like
All right, to clear up any conflict, we don't know if there was sexual abuse when he was young. They may be investigating a sexual abuse charge from when he was 5. We don't know. So the cop is saying we can't release any information of what we're investigating. The other cop is saying that nothing that the other guy said is true. There's no conspiracy with the cops here. There's no I see comments in chat where it's all over the place. There's no conspiracy here. One said no, he never said any of that. He never even led to believe any of that. And the other cop is saying that we're not going to give you our investigation. We can't investigate on, shit that happened 20 years ago. We can't give you any information on a sexual case. Yeah, they never said there was no essay, but again, that could be 20 years ago. They could be looking into something from 20 years ago. And he said he can't give any information on that at all, which I understand.
Lieutenant. Yeah.
that would have been kidnapping, right? Or
We don't have any information to say there was any kind of kidnapping or anything like that right now.
Okay.
Have any search warrants been served at the house where she used to be?
I think it's no search warrants. Right?
No, at the time he was reported missing 8 years ago, being missing is not a crime. So the detectives had no lawful means or probable cause to issue a search warrant for the residence, which was searched several times.
We're going to work our way down and we'll get back to you. Go ahead. Yes.
On the dash cams, what is the timeline for installation for the new ones?
Sunset QX absolutely lied. The cop said he lied, point out blank. Cop said they never even gave him like any cues, and that Rudy never even gave them clues that something went on. X lied. The cop stated it loud and clear.
There's no permanent timeline. As you can imagine, there's a cost to it, and there are some complications. And give you one just quick thing, the challenge. 200 of our vehicles are model 2014 or older. That's a challenge. I'm not, for a fact, but a fire truck.
Evidence could be destroyed. What's your response to that?
So it's procedure for the investigation to go through a channel, and when it reaches us, we review it. There was no urgency to investigate a recovered or found person. And I say that because patrol officers made contact with him. They ensured that he was safe. They contacted HFD to make sure that he didn't need medical treatment, and he was cleared on scene by HFD. He refused transportation to the hospital. His mother took him to the hospital later on that evening.
What the lieutenant?
Okay, I'm going to play this one more time for those of you that think QX didn't lie. Okay? I don't know how much clearer this can get for you.
In that room, the detective did not hear anything about sexual abuse allegations.
Go ahead.
Can you just clear that up?
Yeah, Sergeant Stephen Jimenez.
Listen carefully, guys. For the ones that keep saying that Q didn't lie, listen carefully.
Yes, I interviewed him, and no, there was no, I'm trained to listen for probable cause. I'm trained to listen for statements that can help me get charges or.
I'm trained to listen for probable cause. I am trained for looking for things that are actually a crime, meaning if somebody says something that is a little off, if somebody sounds like they're hiding, a sexual assault, if somebody feels like, if, he gets the feeling that they're lying. This is what he's saying. This isn't an opinion, Gladys. This is called a fact. Understand the difference between a fact and an opinion. The cop is giving a fact, not an opinion.
Or move forward with the case. And no, there was no statements made during this investigation so far, no.
Thank you. Next.
There are no statements made about this, leaning towards that with this investigation. Not even a clue that it went on. So I don't understand the mentality of, well, Q didn't lie. Yes, he did. I don't know how you don't see it.
Next question. Go ahead, Mark.
That was clear as day. Q lied. Mom said, I didn't say Mom didn't lie. Whistle down left me. All right. Hey, Barbara. I think it was kind of weird because they didn't know which way to go with it. And that's why I think that they were kind of acting the way they are. Kind of. Natalie, someone has to. Exactly. Truth it out. QX said that when Rudy made these claims, there was an investigator in the room recording it. That investigator says that didn't happen. Duty either lied or inflated what was actually said to him, in my opinion. I think it was a blatant lie. Thank you, Dragonfly. Because again, if that was said, they would not have allowed him to go home with his mom. I am thinking that all the scratches on him were from the car accident. That's what I'm guessing. No, the Q guy, X guy, whatever. And if the detective heard this or got an inkling of this, like he just said, he was looking for signs to arrest him. He was looking for things of being said that he could have arrested the mom. He found nothing. So child was allowed to go home with mom. Whether he's with her now or not has nothing to do with anything. He may be manipulative. He may be fucked up. Who knows? If he is, I'll tell you this much too. If he can openly speak to some advocate that he never met before, and he's going to go ahead and tell this Mr. X all of his deepest, darkest secrets, he doesn't have something mentally wrong. He doesn't have, what's it called when you are, when you're locked up, like if you're held hostage, what's it called? Yes, he's saying he heard nothing that supports a crime happen. And he is trained to listen for things that would cause, a crime to happen. That's Benson, that's possible. Stockholm Syndrome, thank you. If he's telling this complete stranger his deepest, darkest secrets, come on now. That's not Stockholm Syndrome. Sorry. Probably looking for evidence. But this is what I was getting at. I think everybody's looking for something that's just not there. Zero crime. That's another thing. Angela's right. He was evaluated by doctors. All the doctors let him go home with his mom. Why would they let him go home with his mom? No, I didn't, Kendra. What did it say? Why let him go home with his mom? It did get twisted fast. 100% agree. It got twisted very quick. And that's why I'm not buying it. Coping mechanism to a captive or abusive situation. People develop positive feelings towards their captor. Yes. But I'm saying that he wouldn't have opened up all this stuff to some stranger if he had Stockholm Syndrome. If he was mentally fucked up. That's what I mean. He was in the hospital. Goblin, I'm not the police. Of course it's a crime. I'm not the police. I'm not arguing that the mom was a good person. Doctors are trained to see this too. Absolutely. He was confused, was barely talking, confused on who he is, family. Yeah, I don't believe that either. Jen, you probably missed it earlier. I go back to, well, where the fuck was the ants for the last 8 years? Where are the ants for the last 8 years? Why are you coming out now? I feel like everyone's coming out now for 15 minutes of fame. Show me somebody that looked for this kid. Show me someone that, you know, worked with the police for the last 8 years. Show me someone that, you know, had a team looking for him or searching for him. I can't find any of those. It's a little strange, Bonnie. I just don't think it's like as strange as people think it is, if that makes sense. You know, like I said, it sounded to me like the cop was looking for a reason to arrest her. Cop was looking for, you know, a sign of something illegal when it came to him. Nothing. He couldn't get her on anything. Wasting law enforcement's time? Maybe. But, well, he was missing for 2 days, Carrie. So they may have, I don't know when they come out, but he was missing for 2 days. And I can assure you, if my kid went missing that night, I'd be with news reporters. I'd be calling every news station imaginable. Come interview me, my kid is missing. You know? But he was well fed. And again, at the hospital, I think his injuries were just from a car accident. And I think mom finally told because she didn't have a choice because he went to the hospital. Yeah, he went to the hospital, and there's pictures of him in the hospital. So he definitely went to the hospital. I'd be hiding my face too if my if an advocate was saying all that stuff. I'd be hiding too. What's a fake pic? Oh, those hospital pictures are old? Well, that's interesting. Aren't they from the press? So did he not go to the hospital? In her first interviews when he went missing. Interesting. See, that I didn't know. Okay, but it's the media that posted them. Oh, the mom provided pics to the press. Okay. Yeah, I know that the mom has multiple accounts, but that I mean, she could just be bored and lonely. I mean, people on YouTube have multiple accounts too. So, all right, I'm getting off though. I might be back on later. But I got to go finish Mom's Milano cookie wax melts. Hopefully this round came out good. So I will see all you beautiful people tomorrow, possibly later. Depends what I listen to. Patreons, don't forget, you got some stuff to watch on Patreon. Take you away from this stuff. So, all right, I will see you beautiful people later or tomorrow. Have a wonderful night and peace.